My name is Clarissa Clifton, and I'm a food historian and living history interpreter here at the Archibald Smith Plantation in Roswell. And this is Misha Baker over here. She started cooking with me about 1.5 years ago to train. And today we're going to make a beef and deer jambalaya, not that chicken and andouille thing that has no flavor. Okay, we're here at Stone Mountain Cattle with Alex, Claire, and Colin. And this is where I get my meat from to cook at Smith Plantation. And today we are going to do a jambalaya, and Alex has for us
some goulash.
And I am looking forward for this because this is not a normal cut you find in the U.S. You said it's Brazilian?
So Brazilian and Argentinian people use this, and it's traditionally called picanha. It's the top of the sirloin with the fat cap still on. Fantastic flavor, really, really great for stews and jambalaya especially.
And that's what we're looking for, because that chicken and andouille sausage jambalaya does not have any flavor. But this one with this and deer sausage will blow your mind whenever you have it. Now that I've got my beef from Alex, I need to now go back to Smith and I can start cooking the jambalaya. Now I'm going to just start cutting up the beef, which is incredibly tender, that I got from Alex with Stone Mountain Butchers. It really needs to be known also that jambalayas are poor people's food. It was not the rich people. It's a one-pot dish. It is not something normally that would have went to the big house. It's a very easy, whatever you have on hand to put in. And what I'm doing in it is just so tender because I'm not even putting pressure on it. The deer sausage that we have here is the best jambalaya I've ever made. Squirrel also makes a great jambalaya as well. Because unlike today, and we're going to have a lot of meat in our jambalaya, we'll go ahead and say that. But you would only have enough meat in there to help to give it some flavor. Instead of expecting it to be filled with nothing but meat, it would mostly be vegetables that would be going on with it, which is what Misha is preparing over here to go with the jambalaya.
Isn't jambalaya and gumbo a Louisiana Cajun food? Can you explain the difference between Creole and Cajun?
Actually, jambalaya and gumbo actually start in the low country of South Carolina and Georgia. It is a way for those who have been enslaved and had initially been brought to the Americas to get back to making their jollof rice. So it starts out here, and the way it migrates over to Louisiana is that second and third sons were given money and slaves and had to move west. And that's how it actually makes it into Louisiana. The difference, there is a huge difference between Cajun and Creole. Cajun is the French Canadian mostly. Creole is the African with the jollof rice moving over. Okay, now I need to season my beef. I actually have some garlic in it, and the spices in this is some ginger. I have some mace, which is the outer husk of the nutmeg, which is used a lot in stews. Nutmeg is very prominent whenever you go to the cookbooks that are 1900 and back, because all you need is the one nut, and it only takes like 4 or 5 scrapes, which I've already put some in my deer sausage here. And it's not that you taste nutmeg, it's almost like an umami thing, kind of. It enhances the flavor of what you're putting in itself. And so I would normally also put Scotch bonnet in here, but I have to be very careful because some people don't like heat. I like heat a lot. I have no problems with eating spicy food when doing this, especially since we're going to add rice to it for the jambalaya. And we're going to use the correct historical rice to make the jambalaya, and it makes a huge difference in the taste of it.
So Clarissa, why don't we see more game in our cooking, like deer or wild boar?
One of the reasons is because World War II and Bugs Bunny. The cartoons that were being made then for children, their parents did eat quite a bit of game. But then kids, you'd be like, oh, we're going to have rabbit today. I can't eat Bugs Bunny. And that really is one of the big reasons is why we don't eat as much as we should today. If you really want a lean protein, because you can even tell with these pieces here, the fat is pretty much on one side. The rest of it is incredibly lean and it's incredibly flavorful as well. And when you eat this, you're full. The fat is what adds extra flavor to it. But in this country, we actually consider it that we're higher and socially if we're not eating game. And that's what's turning around. It's like, we used to eat this all the time, but now, I would rather eat something that I buy out of a grocery store. Okay, now that the beef is brown, and that beef browned beautifully. The fat cap on that was excellent to give a beautiful color. A lot of people will start out with the vegetables first, but I really like having the brown meat.
It smells so good.
Yeah, it smells so good, it tastes so good. And so I'm dropping in the deer sausage now, which this deer sausage recipe is excellent. And we'll let it brown a little bit, then we're going to just dump in the vegetables and the herbs that's left. And I'll add the broth to it. Takes about 30 minutes, we'll let it cook. We'll end up throwing in roux. And let me explain the roux. Roux is what you use to brown gravies. I know a lot of people, especially from the European side, believe you're supposed to put just white flour in there, and then they're always concerned about it lumping. If you do a roux, what you're doing is every speck of flour is being coated by grease so that it will not lump when I add it into there. And stir this again, and I think you're about ready for your vegetables. Okay, now we have added our vegetables, all of the herbs and spices. We've even added our onion that's studded with cloves. And this part is mostly, you're waiting for it to come up to a boil so that we can add the roux into it. And then we'll drop rice in, and probably in 30, 40 minutes, we have jambalaya. And we're ready to eat. One pot dish, because it has your meat, has a starch, and has protein in it, all together at the same time. And it smells incredible. This is a copy of my book, One Hearth, One Pot for Love of Food and History. If you're interested in open hearth cooking, or how we get from this to our modern day stoves, just look this up. It's on Amazon. And if you're in Roswell, Georgia, come by the Archibald Smith Plantation House and we can give a cooking demonstration, which we do on the second and fourth Saturdays.